All right, what is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you, and welcome to another edition of AH Live, where today our very special guest is the one and only Elan Trotman, saxophonist, artist, composer extraordinaire, and an entrepreneur as well. He has this incredible jazz festival down in Barbados, which we're going to talk about all of that, and we're going to hear from him and his incredible sound on that saxophone. If you're tuning in on Elan's page, what's up? I'm Adam. We're here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to shoot on over to Adam Holly Artist page and follow me. We're here every week and have great content throughout the week as well. And also, everybody watching, do me a favor, just click that share button just so we can spread the good vibes and spread the music. We're going to have some incredible music today. And speaking of which, I want to get us started. As we all know, it's Valentine's week, if you will. And so I've selected a few songs today that me and my lovely wife will do just to kind of commemorate the feeling that is in the air. And so I'm going to start off with a tune from Earth, Wind & Fire. As you know, I started my career in terms of making records with the one and only Maurice White and Ted Joseph and all of the incredible people at Kalimba Music. That's where my first two albums came off. And so they definitely hold a dear place in my heart. And so I just want to start off with Love's Holiday. You guys know the tune. And just to kind of get us in the mood for Valentine's Day week. Is that all right? It's one of my favorite tunes. Sing along if you know it. my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, we're just getting warmed up here. Just a little bit of earth wind to get us in the mood for Valentine's weekend. That was Love's Holiday. Well, as I mentioned, we have the incredible Elan Trotman in the house, and we are going to get straight to it. But right before that, just want to remind you guys, if you want to help out the show, we make it super easy. You can click that link in the description for PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. Of course, you can do stars through Facebook. And I cannot thank you guys enough. You've just been incredible over and over and over. So if you want to help out, it's all there for you. And we're going to keep it going. That's the reason why we've been able to do this for 45 weeks straight, is because of all your support. So appreciate you guys. And without further ado, from Boston by way of Barbados, the one and only Elan Trotman. All right, what's up, Elan? How you doing today?
Hey, Adam.
Man, appreciate you coming on, and I'm going to start off with you where I start with everybody. What was the reason you picked up the saxophone?
A lot of people don't know this, but my first instrument was actually the piano. I took some formal lessons, I played some classical music, when I was around 10 years old. And then once I got to middle school, the only instrument available was a euphonium, which is like a small tuba.
Yeah.
So I played that for about a half of a semester, and eventually a saxophone became available. But, I guess seeing guys like Najee and Grover come down to play at the festival in Barbados as a teenager, as a youngster, that definitely helped to make me want to play that instrument.
Contemporary jazz is largely, most of the artists are from the U.S. So it was seeing those concerts, it sounds like, is what really not only spurred the saxophone, but I was just curious, what caused your love for contemporary jazz?
Yeah, definitely the festival had a big influence on me, seeing those people in person, because we didn't have access to YouTube and things of that nature as an 11, 12-year-old kid growing up in a small island. Someone gave me a cassette tape of Kenny G, and I wore that thing out till it was all warped and shredded. But I think it was one of his albums that had the song G-Bop.
Yeah.
And, and even at that age, I could hear, he was doing some things, playing some bebop lines and some jazz vocabulary, which were just kind of caught my attention. And then seeing Grover pull out a Barry sax and then switch to a soprano sax, then switch to an alto sax. And I think Gerald Veasley was on bass with him, and he went out into the audience with his wireless bass, and that kind of sealed the deal for me.
And what about the tenor? It's always interesting to me what ends up, the reason that you gravitate to one of them over the other. It seems like that's definitely become your voice.
Yeah, alto was, my first saxophone. Once I started taking lessons on the alto, I started studying people like Cannonball Adderley and, Jackie McLean, Charlie Parker. But once I heard, people like Dexter Gordon and Sonny Stitt and Hank Mobley, that it was just a different sound that appealed to me a little bit more. It was a little more vocal, just about the range and the warmth of the tenor. And I've never picked up an alto since then, because tenor just seemed to be a better fit for me as far as me wanting to say what I have to say, and people just being able to, sing along to what I'm playing. The range just is a better fit for my ideas, I guess.
Not only did you fall in love with the saxophone, but you took it a step further. You ended up at Berklee. I have so many friends of mine that have gone there, and it's such an incredible institution. Why did you end up there, and how did that help you in progressing with your career?
I owe a lot of my successes to Berklee, as far as the experience while I was on campus. Not necessarily directly from the curriculum, because I actually ended up majoring in education and taught in the Boston Public Schools. But even as an education major, I still did quite a lot of playing, in practice rooms, a lot of practicing and listening to records, and growing from other students, who come from all over the world. Many of us had, full scholarships from different countries, wherever we were born. From me personally, from the government of Barbados, the Ministry of Education, which allowed me the opportunity to attend Berklee. And I got a little bit of a head start, because there were a few Berklee alum in Barbados who had come back to the island and kind of tutored and mentored me. So it was a little easier, the application process and auditioning and all that stuff. I kind of had a little jump on the curriculum once I got there. But like I said, I owe a lot of my successes to Berklee as far as, just ear training and my knowledge of harmony and composition, arranging, production, and most importantly, the fraternity that Berklee allows you to have of alum all over the world that are just doing amazing things in the industry.
Now, talk to us a little bit about your original music, because you've definitely carved out your own path, combining contemporary jazz with the Caribbean flavor. Just tell us a little bit about that, because it's definitely unique.
It took me a while to really find a groove as far as something that I can, kind of call my own and give me a little bit of separation from other saxophone players as far as my musical identity. It took me a while, like I said, to really, own it, because I was really trying to make music that would fit the format and honor, the history of contemporary jazz as far as, some of the greats that have gone before us, like Grover and Najee and all these guys that are like my big brothers in the industry, Kirk Whalum, Gerald, guys that have mentored me. So it took me a while to kind of move away from the, mainstream sound and take some more musical risks with my native music, with the rhythms and the colors from the Caribbean, and fuse Afro-Caribbean influences, of course, still within the contemporary jazz format, to come up with a sound which I like to call tropicality.
Great. Well, and we're going to hear one of those tunes right now. Elan was nice enough to let me jam on this. Please enjoy Trade Winds. Awesome, man. Really killer tune. And I want to stay in this vein as well, because not only did you become an incredible, celebrated artist, you're also an entrepreneur and a promoter. Tell us about the Barbados Jazz Excursion.
Barbados, will always be home to me. I was very fortunate to come to Boston and study and start a family here and launch a successful career as a recording artist. But my heart is still in Barbados. My parents are still there. And I started a foundation about 4 years ago. And we make sure that instruments and musical instruction are readily available to elementary school kids on the island on a weekly basis. And the festival is kind of a partnership with the tourism board, where we make it a point to bring visitors to the island every October. And over the past 5 or 6 years, we've brought hundreds and hundreds of guests to come down and celebrate the island's history, the food, the culture, bringing in some national and international talent. And we also have a celebrity golf tournament, and we have a bunch of island excursions that people can choose from. So as you know, 2020 didn't happen. We're very optimistic for 2021, as long as it's safe to do so. And I think you're going to be there with us for our 7th annual, correct?
Yes, sir. I'm honored. Thank you so much for reaching out. And I feel the same way. Fingers crossed that we make it happen in 2021. You have done a lot of music that has a Caribbean tinge. However, I'm having a feeling that Marvin Gaye is a big influence on you as well. You did this incredible tribute album, and we're going to hear one of those tunes in a second. But just tell us a little bit about that project.
And I kind of just did a 180 altogether. I called up a good friend of mine, Charles Haynes, who is also a Berklee alum, drummer, producer extraordinaire. And I said to him, I had this idea of recording a tribute album. The main reason I decided to go with a Marvin Gaye tribute is because I started performing Got to Give It Up as a part of my show probably around 2017. I would close my show out with Got to Give It Up, and it was just a perfect closer for a show because people loved it. People got up and danced, and so that's the first song that we recorded, and that just bled over to us picking 9 other of my favorite Marvin tunes, all organic, real instruments. We had from the xylophones to percussion, strings from the Boston Symphony Orchestra. And to date, I think it's definitely my best work, Dear Marvin.
It's a killer record, and right now, for your enjoyment, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear Inner City Blues. thanks so much for taking the time to sit down with us. And before we get out here, just let people know where we can find out about your projects, about the jazz excursion, etc. Where can we find you online?
Sure, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Elan Trotman. That's ELAN TROTMAN, as well as my website, elantrotman.com. The foundation's website is neverloseyourdrive.org. And the Barbados Jazz Excursion website is barbadosjazzexcursion.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Elan. Appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, take care, Adam.
Oh, yes, the one and only Elan Trotman. Incredible. And man, we got quite a couple of different flavors there. We got some of his, as he mentioned, tropicality sound, and then that incredible inner city blues from his Marvin Gaye tribute record. So appreciate you, Elan. Thanks so much for dropping in. That was so incredible, and always great to hear the backstory as well. So, well, you guys know what time it is. It's time to bring in my lovely wife, Kat, and there she is. I think you got to turn your mic on.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go. What's going on? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You look ready to go to the island. You're looking gorgeous as usual.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Just resting after the week. Well, it's midweek, but
well, we're gonna get into it though. We had quite the weekend, and I saw people commenting too. But for those of you who didn't see, it was my birthday this weekend. But my lovely wife really outdid herself. It was an incredible celebration, and we got pictures. We're gonna share all those in a second. But first, what are the people saying out there? What are they talking about?
Well, first we want to give everyone their shout outs where people are watching from. So we have Sunny Fink watching from Denver, Colorado.
All
Joy
right.
and Peter
What's
in
up?
Austin, Texas.
Yes.
And then we have Rhonda Kilpatrick and Marilyn and Rick. They're in San Diego here in SoCal.
How's it going?
And Steve Hall, as always, is watching.
Yes,
Hi, Steve.
Steve.
And he's in Oregon, but what part of Oregon is
He's
he
in McMinnville, which is about 20 minutes from where I'm from. It's so crazy. So anyways, yeah, rural Oregon. That's a hard word to say, rural. But anyways.
We have Ray Payton. He's watching from Temecula.
What's up, Ray? How you doing,
Ray.
man?
Willie and Leon watching from Prince George, Virginia.
Okay, what's up? How y'all doing?
Arnetta Lee watching from Washington, D.C.
Okay, all right. DC
and then we have
house.
a few people that were giving the temperatures of where they were watching from.
Oh my goodness, I saw that.
Very, very cold. Allison Fader. Hi, Allison. She's in, is it Kelowna? In Canada. And she said it was 10 degrees. Ooh. Robert Zahn, he said it's very chilly here in Wisconsin, and it's 7 degrees.
It was kind of chilly here today, ladies and gentlemen. It was only about 75, and we were struggling through. But we do what we can. So.
Well, it was cold. I mean, it was very overcast.
Don't tell the people that it was 10 degrees that it was cold here. They don't want to hear it.
It was cold for us.
Right.
I had the heater on, and although I didn't put the fireplace on, but I mean, I might later. And then, of course, we have Creston Jordan watching from here in SoCal.
What's up, Creston? How you doing?
Creston says he's digging your shirt, Adam.
Oh, thank you. This is from you, right, Kat? Didn't you pick this one out?
I don't know.
Okay. There's so many now.
I know. There's so many.
I think you did.
But you did a good run. I think maybe for like 3 weeks you wore shirts that you had picked out.
Yep.
So many people are saying, Kat, did you buy that shirt? And it actually was you.
Yeah.
So
we're back to the cat collection.
Michelle Dahl wins. She says Adam got those curls swinging.
Yeah, they're getting longer. And then I think it was Peter Nicholas said if it gets any longer, I'll have a mullet.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly right.
It'll be Joe Dirt up in here pretty much. So, but no, I'm having fun with it. But it's officially been a year since I had a haircut, if you can believe that.
I know.
Because it was actually a little bit before the pandemic that I got my last one. So yeah, this is what happens when you when you don't get cut for a year. So
let me see. Oh, Rhonda Kilpatrick. I just mentioned she's watching here from SoCal in San Diego.
Yeah, what's up, Rhonda?
She says she watched your interview online that you had posted on Facebook, and she said that it was very informative. She said the guy who interviewed you, was so impressed with you, and so is she. She said you're her favorite guitarist. She also said now she knows the story behind the white guitar.
Yeah, so shout out to Jazz Guitar Today, incredible publication, and they did a feature on me. And shout out also to PRS, and I'm playing one of their guitars right here. They helped connect that as well. And Bob Backert was the gentleman who interviewed me, and I believe it's his magazine as well. And so yeah, it was really awesome. They just did a really cool introspective on what I'm up to and my bio. So if you want to check that out, it's on my Facebook or Instagram. Just go scroll down a little bit. You'll find it there. You can click on the link. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Jazz Guitar Today.
And with your white guitar, if I remember correctly, it wasn't always supposed to be white. It wasn't supposed to be like glitter.
That's true. So it's a crazy story. I was with Jennifer Lopez 2012, and they whenever they build a tour like that, they design the whole set to have a theme. And so their thing was, okay, we want everything to be chrome. And so me and the bassist had said, well, can we do silver sparkle? And they said, okay, sure. So we both got a couple of guitars made, guitar and bass, that was silver sparkle. And then once they found out how much it would cost to make everything chrome, the keyboards, the drums, the percussion, they said, actually, never mind. We need everything to be white. And so I was like, oh, my goodness, who can come through in the last minute? And it was PRS, Paul Reed Smith. And they ended up sending me 3 guitars that I used on that tour. And I'm still using them. This is still my number 1 guitar that I use for especially all of my jazz stuff. And I have another one that's great for more kind of rhythm. And so, yeah, that's the story behind why the guitar is white. It's all J-Lo's fault.
Steve Hall said, I went to your hometown, Adam.
You did. Yeah, so I'm from Gaston, which if you blink, you'll miss it. It's 500 people. There's not even a stop sign or a stoplight. There's only a blinking yellow, and that's not an exaggeration. So, but no, I'm from a town of 500, and then we lived about 15 minutes away from those 500 people. So very rural. There's that word again.
Yeah.
But great place to grow up. There was not much to do, so I just practiced guitar all the time.
Yeah, and when Adam and I first met, I was still in high school. I was getting ready to graduate high school. And when he told me that the town was 500 people, I said, how is that even possible? That's like my graduating class. That's not even half of my graduating class. So very different.
Well, you're a city girl from LA, so it's just a different thing. We were up there. We literally had, I'm not exaggerating, ladies and gentlemen. No exaggeration necessary. We had drive your tractor to school day. Yes. Yes. And then I asked my dad, can I drive our tractor? He said no. So I was left out of the fun.
But you did have a golf cart.
Yeah. Well, so the story behind that is our driveway was so long that walking it was like, kind of an endeavor. So yeah, so we got a used really cheap golf cart, and we would just take that up and down the driveway, or if we need to check the mail, it was it's the country.
Country living.
Yep.
James Johnson, when you were playing your Earth, Wind, and Fire song, he said 1 year you and Kat should do a Valentine's Day special for the grown folks.
Oh, okay.
He said there might be a lot of babies made during that special.
Wow, TMI. Yeah.
But that's actually a cute idea.
That is a cool idea. Yeah.
We always talk about doing like a Christmas special too, like.
Well, and we're usually on the road.
Guitar.
Last year we did 2 Valentine's Day shows. We did actual on the day in Akron, and then we did the day after hanging out with Lynn Roundtree in Detroit.
That's right.
So we're usually on the road. And then the year before, remember, we were in Atlanta on Valentine's Day. It was we were hanging out with Marcus. We did a show together.
And then we went down to Ohio. Or I guess up.
Something like that, yeah. It starts to run together, but yeah. Yeah, we're usually on the road, so we're caught off guard a little bit this year, so.
Yeah, and Valentine's Day, I'm usually, whenever I'm on the road with Adam, I'm usually like the only female out of like 20 men.
Yeah.
So we were on the road and Valentine's weekend, I guess both 2, maybe 3 years.
Oh, yeah, usually. We usually are.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to the interview when you were interviewing
with Elan. Yes.
So many people loved him. So many fans of his also that follow you. And Michelle Dahl wins. When he was giving his backstory about in Boston, she said, Elan, terrific stories. So many people loved hearing his stories. Naming all the people that he, was inspired by and then worked with. How his career got started. And then especially they loved the stories of him going back with his alumni friends, from Boston and kind of collaborating. A lot of people really enjoyed that.
No question.
Diane Johnson said she met Elan several years ago in Palm Desert.
Okay.
And they shared a lot of Barbados stories because her grandparents are from Barbados.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So she was telling Elan, hey, remember me? We discussed some Barbados stories. I want to know what those stories were. Was it about food? Usually when people are discussing, places that they're familiar, they're talking about food places or something.
Well, definitely the food is incredible. Remember, we went to Barbados on the Dave Koss cruise in 2016, and it was incredible. It was just gorgeous.
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
And so, and supposed to be back there. Fingers crossed. We mentioned it in the interview. The Barbados Jazz Excursion is supposed to be happening later this year. So hopefully, as Elan mentioned, if we can do it safely, it will happen. So I'm sure a lot of you watching probably have tickets, and if not, you can still get them. But I'll be down there as long as we can make it happen safely.
Yeah, and so many people were really impressed with how he runs his getaway.
Oh, yeah.
And, collaborating with the Tours Association at Barbados. And then, of course, his foundation that he said he created. I think he said 4 years ago, or was it longer? I'm not sure.
I think it's been longer because the festival, this is the 7th year.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so.
And on that note, Kurt Schmidt said, I wish schools valued music education more here in the USA. I do too.
Yeah, it's tricky. I was really fortunate. We had a supportive musical program. The only tricky part about, because I was in a school so small, there was just not a lot of kids to play. But we had a good program, and we had, in fact, my the band director when I was in high school was a former big time session player in Los Angeles, and he had relocated up to Oregon. And but it's kind of funny. I almost never played guitar when I was in high school because I was always playing the instruments we didn't have. So I played bass, I played drums, piano, trumpet. But looking back on it, it was a good experience just to get my feet wet with all of those different ones. So
yeah, and I have to say the same. When I was in junior high and high school, it was a little different.
Yeah.
My music program was very I guess mature, and we had a lot of funding. We would have like professional choreographers come and choreograph like our show choir, or like a Some You Would Know Glee. Like we had Jennifer Lopez's ex-husband come in and do one of our shows for us, and like Jessica Simpson, her choreographer, he trained us in the summer.
Well,
so it was
but you did grow up in the LA area, so it's,
very different.
Jennifer Lopez's ex-husband was not coming to my school.
Yeah.
In rural Oregon.
But it was just very different. And so it was at some point, after the crash of USA, when schools were like, okay, we need to budget some money. And so that's unfortunately, they kind of like cut music in a lot of schools, or just cut certain things in music departments. And now as parents, I've seen it with little Adam's school. He started playing saxophone pre-COVID. And they had a list. You had to choose which instrument you wanted to play. But you may not be able to get that instrument because there was only like 10
there's
or
only
8.
So many.
And it was like a lottery. Like if you didn't get picked, then you can't be in band, which was so sad. So we opted out to just get Adam his own instrument and leave the other one at the school, like for someone else that really wanted it.
I think all that was left was clarinet. He wasn't feeling that, and so we went and got him and alto. But now, because of COVID, there's no band right now, so it's crazy.
I know. Super crazy. Okay, when you and Elan were playing the first song, is it Trade Winds?
Yeah, Trade Winds.
Trade Winds. Oh my goodness. So many people were loving it. They were putting like the beach emojis and like the dancing emojis. Cheryl Walters, she said, Elan and Adam bringing that vacay vibe. So many people were saying, yes, the island vibe. And then of course, all the people that are on the East Coast and the North where it's super cold, they were definitely appreciating that escape, like the imagery of a vacation, like island vibes for them.
No, I was feeling it, definitely. That's a fun tune. I remember playing that with Elan way back on the Dave Koz cruise, maybe in 2014, a long time ago. So it was fun to kind of remember that, and it didn't take me that long to get it down because I'd played it before a few times. So yeah, cool tune.
Okay, I wanted to read this to you.
Okay.
It was, I think, someone named Jocelyn. I couldn't catch the last name because all the comments are flipping up, but she said that the new population for Gaston is like 8 something. I think I want to say 867.
Oh wow!
So she was saying there's been
blowing
growth.
up. It's blowing up. 800 people. Oh.
She said there's been growth. Oh no, I got that totally wrong. Jocelyn Roach.
Okay.
Or is it Roche? She says Google says that the population is 637. I don't know where I got 8 from.
Yeah.
But 637.
Well, so since I left, they've gained 137 people.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well,
That's really cute, actually.
Rural Oregon. That's
so
funny.
I think we can now go over to our questions.
Okay, ask Adam. I saw a ton of questions coming
Yeah.
in. We'll do a few of them, and then we always keep track of them and make sure to do them on the next episode. So, let's do a few. Let's do like 3 or 4. What do you got?
Okay, let's first kind of touch on the ones that we kind of skipped last week.
Go
So
for it.
I remember someone had asked why was the guitar referred to as axe?
Yes, so I looked this up. I actually didn't know the answer, and it's pretty fascinating. So what I came across was it actually started off with the saxophone, and it was kind of slang, like, hey, man, go grab your sax. And then it just got kind of shortened, go get your axe. And it was just kind of a slang that band members would say to each other. But then over time, it started to become... it kind of spread to all the other instruments and just kind of became slang for, grab your instrument, grab your axe. So that's what I came across. It's pretty interesting. I don't even know why I never even thought of it. I guess the other thing that came to mind was like axe, battle axe, like this is our weapon going into war, and music is is a challenging industry to succeed in. And so it's like, this is your weapon of choice to succeed as you go into battle. So I kind of peripherally thought of it that way as well.
Yeah.
But I think those 2 definitions suffice for me.
This is also from last week.
Okay.
Rob Goldsmith. He said, do you have any published guitar education materials?
Oh, that's a great question. I haven't gotten into that. I have some friends of mine that have put out some incredible literature. But primarily, I've just been teaching at the college level right now. As I mentioned, I'm down in Orange County at Saddleback, and I've got a class and several private students. And then occasionally, I get some Zoom students from abroad, and that's what I've been keeping busy with mostly. But right now, I've kind of pared it down. I'm just doing 1 day a week, and really keeping busy producing, obviously, and then working on my projects. So. Not yet. Maybe one day.
And this kind of flows into teaching.
Okay.
Stephanie Valentine says, do you teach young kids?
I did. I haven't in quite a while. But when I was in college, when I was a sophomore, that's how I was eating. Literally, is I used to go teach on the weekend. I was at USC, which is essentially downtown, more or less, LA. And I was driving down to Orange County and teaching all the way down to the age of 5. I would say 5 all the way through high school. And I taught that age for, it would have been 5 or 6 years. And I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. But as I progressed in my academic career and, started working my master's and my doctorate, then I started teaching assisting at USC, and then ended up getting these different college gigs. So it's been a little while. It's been about, I would say, 13 years since I taught that age.
And Robert Crutcher says, Adam, do you have any siblings?
I do not. Only child. Hey, when you get it right the first time, what can I say? What can I say? No, only child, which is the opposite of Kat. She has the ultimate extended family.
I only have 3 siblings.
Well, but then they all have, some of them have kids, and so it's a big family. So yeah, my family's kind of the opposite. It's a little bit more close knit, but no. So it's funny because I'm. Same thing with our personalities. I'm used to just kind of doing my own thing, and Kat's like, "Come on, let's go, let's go jump in all these people." Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
And so it's funny, but it's a yin and a yang between the two of us,
Very.
right?
And
Opposites attract.
And when Adam was first starting to come around my family, I just had to tell them, like, y'all need to chill because he's not used to all this craziness. He would be sitting there, like, staring at us like, I know you probably thought we were all crazy. But, it's very different being in a house full of people and then, a house with not a lot of people.
Right, yeah. Well, no, primarily, yeah, it's just 3 people in my household growing up, myself and my mom and dad. So yeah, definitely different vibe, but it takes all kinds to make the world go round. So thank you for bringing me into the
craziness.
The craziness.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Do you want one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay, Sharon Johnson.
Okay.
She says she and her husband Meryl, when you jam with your special guest, are they sending you a track in advance to learn, or do you play off the cuff?
Oh, well, so yeah, it's all done in advance because it's not possible to play live for you with, there would be latency because of the distance. Even with the speed of internet as it is now, it would take time for me to play a chord and then Elan hear it and then respond and vice versa. And so, so usually what happens is my guest will record first, send it to me, and then I will overdub. I will play along with it and put it all together and edit it for you guys to watch on the show. In terms of learning it, I usually just learn it by ear. I do read, different artists I've played with over the years, I had to do a lot of reading, like Manhattan Transfer, Natalie Cole, but also a lot of artists I played with was just by ear. And so typically, I just listen to it a couple times, learn it, and then record it, and then that's it. So it's fun. I really enjoy it, and I always tell my guests, I say, hey, whatever you want me to play on, I'm happy to, because it's fun learning new music and, just getting into their vibe. So I have fun with it. It's a blast.
And Lori Erickson, she said, but Kat Holly, your family has to be a good kind of crazy. Smiley face.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, just very loud and outspoken like myself. And,
no, really, you don't say. You don't say.
And then when Adam, was first coming around my family, he was just very quiet and kind of taking everything in. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he's going to leave.
You're so funny.
But yeah, that is it for Ask
awesome.
Adam.
Well,
we'll roll some over for next week.
Definitely. We will. We'll make sure to do some more questions next week, but we have to get to these pictures from the birthday party. So we'll do an extra long Ask Adam next week. Okay. But let's jump into these. As we mentioned, it was my birthday on Sunday. And by the way, they also scheduled a football game in my honor as well. But my wife surprised me with a trip to Mexico from our living room.
Right.
And oh my goodness, it was so incredible. So this was the first thing. I had to walk in with my eyes closed, and then she, the whole surprise thing. And they had the balloons for me and the whole spread. It was so cool. So that was my first sight of it. And we'll cycle through some of these. There is the margarita station, which I enjoyed a little bit too thoroughly. Oh my goodness. I think I had 3, and they were Cadillac margaritas. I'll show you here in a second.
Well, yeah, they were Cadillac Corona Ritas. So, amazing ingredients. And we used George Clooney's new tequila. What is it called?
Casamigos. Yes.
And then you stick a Corona inside, and then we also had some Mexican candy, like chili straws.
Oh my goodness.
So you put the chili straw in the margarita, and it kind of melts inside, gives it a little zap, and then you can sip through the straw too.
It was so incredible, so tasty, and like I said, I think I had 3 of them. So let's see, what else did we have? Oh, we had homemade salsa.
What is this?
Is this It's not a blender. What do you call this?
It's a food processor.
Food processor. Thank you. Thank you. As you can tell, I've never used one in my life. I know how to use a blender.
So just like tomatoes and cilantro.
Ooh, and there is the final
onions,
result. Oh my goodness.
all of that.
And you
So
also
good.
made some handmade guacamole as well.
Made some homemade guacamole.
So good. I ate a bag of chips on my own. All right, let's keep going. Oh, you had these incredible pastries as well.
Oh, yeah.
And I forget what these are called. Mexican pastries. I think there's a name for them. But anyways, they were very tasty. It took me back to, I used to play at a church in West Covina, and there is a bakery across the street. I used to grab these. So tasty. All right, we'll keep going. Okay, here is what I was talking about. Here's the chip station with the homemade salsa and the homemade guacamole. Really,
Bomb.com.
really tasty. What else? Oh, this is her making her own taco shells, frying them in the oil there on the stove. Oh,
So good. One of my really good friends
So
taught
good.
me like when I was like 18 years old, and I've been doing it like that ever since.
Tremaine says, Cat Holly, you did that? Let's keep going. Oh, the corn. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, so some people had messaged me. Were like, "What is this?" So like here in SoCal, obviously in Mexico as well, but like we have street vendors.
Yep.
And like they'll walk through the neighborhood, kind of like an ice cream truck would. And there's Mexican grilled street corn. So it's grilled corn,
Yep.
and then there's like Mexican cream, or sometimes they put mayonnaise or sour cream. And then you can get like Mexican crumble cheese.
Yeah.
And then you put like pepper on it, but like Mexican like
Yeah.
zesty pepper, and then whatever else, lemon, salsa, lime. So good.
So good. All right, let's keep going. So that was the corn. Here's the this was the appetizer. This was the tostadas, right?
Mhm, yeah.
With ceviche.
The shrimp ceviche.
Oh,
I do have to say, I did not make this ceviche. I
Oh.
have made ceviche, but I couldn't. So this is Costco ceviche. And then put some vegan sour cream under, and then like with some Mexican cheese on top.
yeah.
And then of course you have to put some salsa on there.
So good, so good. Okay, so then of course they had a piñata for me with some of my favorite candies, some Reese's and Snickers and Starburst. So that was a lot of fun. I only hit it a couple times. I let Adam Jr. Do the heavy lifting, and he thoroughly enjoyed himself. And we got one more picture. This was dessert. Churros.
Some churros.
Oh, wow.
And these are the same brand that they sell at Disneyland. Okay, so we kind of had a little Disneyland treat at home.
Man, it was so good. So, honey, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It was an incredible celebration,
and mind you, celebration. It was just the four of us here in the house.
Oh,
so
it
it's
was
just
so tasty.
Kurt Schmidt says, seriously? Question mark. Street vendors with corn on the cob? Yes.
Oh,
Here
yeah.
in SoCal, we have street vendors with fresh fruit, anything you want, strawberries, pineapples, cantaloupe, whatever. We have street vendors with corn.
Yep.
We have street vendors with tamales. At my grandmother's house on a weekend, it'll be like 8 in the morning, and you hear like the little
Yeah.
abuelita walking down the street screaming tamales, and you just go outside and get like 3 for $5.
So good, so good.
Yeah, so good. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, and so glad you guys enjoyed the pictures too.
It was hard to get up the next morning. I definitely enjoyed it a little too much. But, well, thanks so much, honey. We're going to hear from you in just a second.
Okay.
My lovely wife is going to join us for a number at the end. But first, before we do that, I think we have a visitor. Come here, Ruby. We've been having a request for our, he's trying to lick me, for our family dog for the last couple weeks, so we decided to make appearance. Last week would have been the week because he was fully groomed earlier that day, but he's still looking pretty good. But there's Rufy. He's doing a little better. He's getting to know the house a little bit more, although he left a present in Adam Jr.'s room a couple days ago. But anyways, there's Rufy, our mascot, Rufus the family dog. Well, Rufy, you can stay here for a second because I'm going to tell everybody what's happening next week. We have an incredible episode next Wednesday, a doubleheader. A double header. Our good buddy, friend of the show, he's been here before. Blake Aaron is back with his brand new single. I had the pleasure of producing it for him, and it features Najee. It's burning up the charts. It's called Sunday Stretch, so he's going to perform that for us, and we're going to check in on him and see how he's been since he was last here. It's been several months. I think it's been 4 or 5 months since Blake was here, so it'll be good to have him back. And all the way from Japan, Wakana will perform her brand new single, Silk. So we've got a doubleheader next Wednesday, February 17th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. All right, well, we're going to close out with a tune, and I'm going to bring my lovely wife back here on the screen. There she is.
Hi.
And this is a tune that is from my very first record. And we redid a classic that was originally by The Cure, and we did our own thing with it. And so we hope you enjoy. This is another tune kind of in the theme of Valentine's Week. It's called Love Song.
You
thank you so much, honey, for
You're
sharing that with us. We want to
You're
wish
welcome.
everybody an amazing Valentine's weekend, and we will see you next week with Wakana and Blake Aaron. And don't forget, if you want to help out the show one more time, I'll just remind you guys, click that link in the description. And of course, we have stars as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support week after week. See you next week with Blake and Wakana. Have a great night.